Hello, students. Good afternoon to all of you. I hope you will be fine at home. I welcome you all in this lecture of power system instrumentation. That is the subject in our basically fifth semester. And as per the our SUV curriculum, the code is given that is EE311, and unit is 5, and we are in the basically last unit, that is unit number 5, and that unit name is power system instrumentation. The unit name is what? Unit name is basically your power system instrumentation. So if I am talking about the power system instrumentation, my dear students, second. So we are going to study that is instrument transformers again. But in this topic, we are going to study about potential transfer. So if I am talking about the power system instrumentation, though if we are going to somewhere, so I have to, if I am going to new place, so I have to identify the how can I reach there, what are the visiting things in, we can say, what we can see in the new place, what the facility we are having in that new places, how can we reach their new places, what are the system we have. So similar to that, the power system instrumentation is basically a subject in which we have studied a lot about the instrument which is used for power system for measuring purpose. For what? For measuring purpose. So it is again a important subject of power system, and power system is a main subject of electrical engineering. One subject is the electrical machines, and another main subject is the power system. So in power system instrumentation, we have studied a lot about the instrument which is used for the measuring purpose in the power system. Okay, so similar to that, the power system instrumentation comprises 5 units. In this, the 4 units is basically having different names and different topics and different contents and subtopics, we can say. So if I'm talking about the unit number one, so unit number one, the topic name is error. But in this error, we having different types of error. Errors are basically the mistakes and the blunders which make by human being and make by the instrument. They may be the make by the reader, or we can say the person who doing the who are doing the invention, who are doing the experiment basically, or who are taking the readings, who are taking the measuring, who want to take the measurement. So the blunders and mistake made by the human being is also known as error. So the errors may be of instrument, may be of observation. So maybe of instrument, maybe of observations. So we having certain errors we have, we can say we having the gross error, okay, we having the systematic error, okay, we having the observational errors, we can see. So if I'm talking about the gross error, so gross error is basically, we can say, the errors is basically combined error. We can't able to identify, because if I read wrong, then for example, I have to read 5 ampere but I read it 5.5, so reading always be different for me, the measurement always be different for me. So that is the gross error. But how can we eliminate, how can we basically, the steps which we use to uh, basically remove that error. Remove that error means how can I be able to remove that errors, and try to remove that errors is basically what is take the readings more than twice, more than twice, and read, vision, basically view correctly, not the some other error, so that we can remove, or we can reduce the gross error. Then we having the in systematic error. In this systematic error, we having the instrumental error, we having the basically the uh, environmental error, observational error, we can see. So in this we having, for example, instrumental error. So instrument having the shortcomings, instrument having the shortcomings means there is some problem in the instrument, means the spring is not properly connected, the tension will become loose of that spring, though pointer will always not always rest on zero, so your reading will be higher, you always get. Then we having the environmental means pressure, dust, humidity, pressure, temperature effects. The observation while I'm observing, that is parallax error. So while I'm observing, I'm not getting the reading in a right manner. So that comes in the report. So we having these errors. Then we having the random errors. So random basically done by the randomness. Means random mistakes means so many mistakes we make in a universe. So they are not countable. How can be counted? So they make in a way, means the random way we are making the mistakes. So this thing. Then we having the Gaussian distribution curve, Before that, we're having the precision and accuracy. So accuracy is always the accurate value. Precision is the repeatability of measurement. Means repeatedness of measurement. Means repeat measurement, repeatness, repeating. While I'm repeating the measurements, so we'll get the repeat measurement and repeat readings. Yeah, I'm getting the repeat of reading, repeat measurement I'm getting. So basically, if I'm getting this reading, or reading after reading after reading, so that may be the example. If the accurate value will be the 7 ampere in a meter, so I'm not getting 7 ampere, but I'm getting 6.5, 6.4, 6.6, 6.7, 6.8, 6.9, 6.4 again. So these are the repeatedness of the measurement, but I'm not getting exact 7 value, that is also known as true value, that is the accurate value, accuracy, where it came from. So how can we identify? We can make a deviation. In so many measurements are there, we can draw a curve of that we can also make a distribution curve, that is known as Gaussian distribution curve. We can make a curve of it, of negative side or positive side, make a curve of it. And how can we make a curve? First we take a mean of it. For example, I am having 9 measurement, 9 readings, so just add all the 9 readings and divide by the 9 number of readings, we'll get a mean. We can place mean as a center value and make a curve of it. So we'll get a deviation, we get a dispersion. So if dispersion and deviation is there, then we have to identify that term. So we having the average deviation, we having the standard deviation, then we having the variance. So these we have all studied in the unit number 1. Now if I'm talking about the unit number 2, then in unit number 2 we having the transducer. Transducer is an element or component or particle or part of a system which is used to convert one form of energy to the another. If I'm talking about the one form of energy, means it means maybe physical quantity, chemical, acoustic, biological, pressure, displacement, temperature, all these convert into the electrical, because we are in the electrical engineering branch, so we always talk about the electrical transducer. So in transducer, we're having two things: sensing element and the transaction element. Sensor for the sensing it, and transaction for converting it. So transaction may be basis of active passive transducer, the analog digital transducer, we can say primary and secondary transducer. Then we having as per the transaction, capacitive, inductive, photovoltaic, photoconductive, phototransductive, all of these. So in this we having various types of transducer. For example, linear variable differential transducer, strain gauges, thermistor, thermistors, Hall effect for magnetic measurement, strain gauges, we having thermocouple, we having resistance temperature detector, we having potentiometer pot, we having, okay. Then we having the thermocouple. So these all are basically types of transducer as per their working, as per their requirement, where we have to use it, and what we can measure with the help of these. Okay. So these are all about the unit number 2. Then we having the unit number 3. So unit number 3 is basically dealing with the signal conditioning. So if I am talking about the signal condition, my dear student, though in signal conditioning, basically, how can we condition a signal? How can we condition a signal, or how can we filter out the signal? So we need so many transducer in it, because for the sensing purpose. And then we having what? We having the amplifiers. So first amplifier which we use in certain manners, in different manners, that is the op-amp, that is operational amplifier. And why I am using the word operational amplifier is there, because it performs operation. Operation means mathematical operations. What are they? We can use for the differentiator, we can use it for the integrator, we can use for the subtractor, we can use for the adder, we can use for the differentiator, we can use for the integrator, we can use for the logarithmic, we can use for the anti-logarithmic, we can use for the voltage follower. But it is the IC741 chip and having 8 pin structure. So in this 5 pins are in the use, but remaining 3 pins are not in use. 5 pins if I am talking about, though, uh, one for inverting input, another one for the non-inverting input, one for the output, and two for the negative and positive voltage respectively. And two are for the null, no correction, one for the null side offset value. So these are the structure of IC741, and that is operational amplifier, and it is very good gain, having the good gain, which having the it best for the amplification. So most rejection to the CMMR. So we having a very good amplifier. Then we having the instrumentation amplifier, again a combination of op-amp, 3 op-amps, the instrumentation working. Then we having the isolation amplifier to basically protect the patient to for the flow of leakage current to their body. We having the isolation amplifier. Then we having the analog multiplier and divider. Gilbert mixer we use. Then we having the adder and subtractor. Okay, analog adder and subtractor we use. Then we having the function generator. We can generate different types of function, means waves, frequency waves of different shape. For example, we can say rectangular, triangular, basically the sinusoidal. The name is sinusoidal, and sawtooth also. We can make different types of waves in it with the help of op-amp in it. That is works an integrator. Then we having the optocoupler, magnetic isolation, optical isolation, or isolator we have, and basically we have what we having the frequency to voltage converter. In the frequency to voltage converter, we again using the inverter integrator, that is op-amp, and we having the two parts, one for the frequency, another part for the voltage. So frequency and voltage both we have. Okay, so we having the both basically the path in it, and we can directly convert of the sinusoidal input frequency wave having the frequency converted into the voltage in the output. Okay, so they are having the FBC, and we use op-amp as a integrator. Then we having frequency, or we can say the temperature to current converter. Similar to that, we have the integrator in it. Then we are having the grounding and shielding. So grounding and shielding are very important thing, because grounding is to make the electrical safety from the electrical shock. Because if fault occurs, then leakage current will flow. So we want to make leakage current zero. So if I want to make leakage current zero, so I have to make a path that is known as grounding. For similar to that, we having a three-phase four-wire system. So three-phase four-wire system means star connection. So in this three phases having three wires, but one wire is remaining, that is for the neutral, and neutral is basically grounded to make a current of that neutral zero. So having the low impedance. If I having the low impedance, means leakage current will flow to that path having the low impedance, and the current value will become zero. So I hope you understand about this thing. Okay, so there are two types of grounding: multiple point and single point. In single point, basically we connect, we having, for example, 18 instruments, and 18 instrument having the grounding connected to a single point. But if I am talking about the multi-point grounding, so in this multi-point, we having 18 instrument 18 groundings connected at different points, that is known as multiple point transducer, multiple point grounding, sorry. Then we having the shielding. So shielding is basically due to protect the instrument, and we having always having shielding in the cables. So we prefer the we can say the cable which having the shielding. So it is copper graded shielded cables we already available in the cables in the market. So we can use them for the purpose to shield for the shielding. Then in unit number 4, we have understood about the measurement, that is power system instrumentation 1. In this voltage and current measurement, so with the help of voltmeter we can measure the voltage. With the help of voltmeter we can measure the current. So voltage we can measure by applying voltmeter parallel to the or across to the circuit, and while applying the series to the circuit we can measure current with the help of ammeter. Then we having the loading effects. We having two types of meter, analog and digital. If I am talking about the analog, so we having PMMC and MI. In digital, we use we can say amplifiers and electronic components, solid state components. Microprocessor also we can use in some way. So in that, basically, if I am talking about the analog, though we having the deflection, scale, pointer, deflecting torque, and controlling torque. And basically, two things are there most important. One is the loading effect. So loading effect is basically by in voltmeter we having the internal resistance, in ammeter we having the internal resistance, though they always produce an effect while we take measurement when we use voltmeter and ammeter in the circuit. So that is basically the loading effect. Okay, so we have understood about the multimeters also. Then we having the measurement of frequency, phase angle, voltage, and time with the help of CRO. CRO is basically the cathode ray oscilloscope. In CRO, we can we say the main part of CRO is the basically the CRT. CRT is what? The cathode ray. So we can say CRT is the heart of that CR. So in this we are having the vertical and horizontal axis plates, and here we are having the cathode ray gun or cathode gun we having, which produce the cathode, and focusing anode is there, which basically move from horizontal or vertical and applied on the scope, basically on a sheet. These electrons are moving and plays on a it produce a beam having the shape, so we can produce this shape. So in this we having uh, we can measure the frequency while we measuring the time or by the horizontal vertical axis plates. You can also measure the voltage by the deflection, then time. If I'm measuring the time, though we can say frequency is inversely proportional to the time, so f is inversely proportional to t, or f is proportional to 1 by t we can say. So if I'm having the time, then we can having the frequency. Then we having the phase, because we having the waves, so we can make a difference between the waves, so we can identify the phase difference. Okay. Then we having the basically active power, reactive power, and apparent power. We having three powers in in a AC system, that is known as complex power, apparent, active, and reactive. Apparent is the phasor sum of active and reactive. Active is due to the resistor, and reactive is due to the reactor and capacitor. Consumed power we can say, and waste power is known as resistor power. So we can measure very easily with the help of energy meter, and in this we having the vi cos phi dimension for the active power, and vi sin phi is for the reactive power, so we can measure. Okay, then we having the electrical energy meter are of two types. Watt hour meter, that is induction type, induction watt hour meter, that is analog. Then we having the digital. Analog we having the 6 to 7 components, and digital we having the inbuilt components microprocessor based. Then we having the special type energy meter. It is based on the microprocessor, and it also works for the tariff. We want to make bill, so we can having the bill system, A plus B, and all these we can measure it very easy. So these we have understood in the unit number 4. In unit number 5, we having the power system instrumentation second. So if I am talking about the power system instrumentation second, so we are going to study instrument transformers. Previously we have studied about the current transformer, then we are going to study about potential transformer. Now, help the learner to understand the basics of instrument transformers. Again, it is objective because I am delivering the lecture, so there will be some motto of myself or my side to attain or to achieve this target. That is the objective. So help the learner to understand the basics of instrument transformer. Help the learner to understand the basics of instrument transformer. It is my objective number one, first objective. Second, understand the detailed theory of potential transformer. Understand the detailed theory of potential transformer means how potential transformer works, in which manner it works, basically. So, instrument transformer. Now, these all are the images or the identification, that how can we identify how it looks. If anyone asks you that send me your image, I want to see that how you look. So these are the images or the pictures of instrument transformer, how they looks basically. So they are some CT and PTs in it. Now, what is an instrument transformer? It is a transformer that is used in conjunction with any measuring instrument. We can use with any measuring instrument, that is a meter, voltmeter, wattmeter, watt hour meter means power, energy, for the measurement of current, voltage, power, energy, etc., or protective equipment, that is relay. That is relay. So it utilizes the current transformation, that is K, V2 by V1, I1 by I2, and N2 by N, and voltage transformation properties to measure high AC current and voltage. Means it applies step up and step down conditions. If I am telling you step up means voltage is increasing but current is decreasing. So for current transfer, we can use step up type conception. But if I am talking about the step down voltage, so voltage is reducing but current is increasing. So for voltage measurement, we can use step down conception. If I am talking about the step up conception, means primary having few turns but secondary having large turns. Similar to that, if I am talking about the step down, though primary winding having large turns, but secondary winding few turns. So that is the thing. So it utilizes the current transformer and voltage transformer properties to measure high AC current and voltage. I hope you understand. Now moving forward, types of instrument transformers. These instrument transformers are of two types. Basically, we having two types. One is the current transformer, another one is the potential transformer. Current transformers and potential transformers. So in my previous lecture before this, I told you about current transformer. But now we are considering on the potential transformer in this lecture. Application of instrument transformers. What are the application? Why we are using? We know that it is we can use in the conjunction with ammeter, voltmeter, watt meter, watt hour meter, and some protective relays for the measurement. But why are we are using? What are the applications we have? So the applications of instrument transformers are first for measurement of high AC current. It is usual to use low range AC ammeter with suitable shunt. We can use a low range AC ammeter with suitable shunt in it. For measurement of high AC voltage, low range AC voltmeter are used with high resistance connected in series. For measurement of high AC voltage, what we can do, low range AC voltmeters are used with high resistance connected in series. We can see. Now for measurement of very high AC current and voltage, or very high AC current and voltage, we cannot use these methods. We cannot use these methods. We are having different methods. We can use different methods. Instead, we use specially constructed HV instrument transformer, high voltage instrument transformer, to insulate the high voltage circuit. Insulate what? Insulate the high voltage circuit from the measuring circuit in order to protect the measuring instruments from burning. For high voltage, the burning will be disadvantage, or we can find the burning effect will be there. So we have to protect the instrument from this. Okay, I hope you understand. Now, application of instrument transformers in DC circuit for current and voltage measurement. If I'm talking about the application of instrumentation transformer, we can say the instrument transformers in DC. If I'm talking about the AC, we having, but in DC we need a rectifier system because we using a transformer. So transformer always works on AC, not on DC. So in transformer, in DC circuit for current and voltage measurement, we use low range DC ammeters and voltmeters with rectifiers. With rectifiers connected in their secondary circuit. With rectifiers connected in their secondary circuit. The vast primary application of instrument transformer is for the protection and control power system. We can say that the what is the application and why we are using the basically the instrument transformer. So we are using instrument transformer for basically the vast and primary application of the instrument transformer is for the protection and control of power system and power equipment of high and very high ratings. So see, I am taking an example. In a substation, we always work like this with the 11 multiple. For example, we have a substation of 765 kilovolt, 400 kilovolt, 220 kilovolt, 132 kilovolt, 33 kilovolt, and 11 kilovolt. So in this all kilovolt range, the voltage in the kilovolt range. So similar to that, the current will be in the kiloampere. So can you tell me, or can you suggest me that any ammeter and voltmeter measures kilo voltage in kiloampere? No, never. We have no high. We can make high voltage instrument, but in a practical way, in a easy way, we can't able to use ammeter and voltmeter for the measurement of kilo level voltages and current. That is 10 raised to the power 1000 volt, 1000 ampere. So for this, we use an instrument which basically uh, down the current and voltage level for the measurement purpose by the help of voltmeter and ammeter. So these are the basically instrument transformers. These are what instrument transformer. Why I am using transformer here, my dear student? Because transformer having the capability or having the ability to dropping down the voltage and current level with the help of turns in the primary and secondary. So that thing we want to use, and we are using as a instrument transformer. So transformer perform two operations: controlling, power controlling, and protection. First is the measuring, and then production also. So the working of these instrument transformers are similar to those of ordinary transformer. Now see, if I am having the ordinary transformer, so what having the ordinary transformer? We having two windings connected in a core. So we having the same magnetic field, same magnetic path, but different current path. So in this construction, the windings are electrically separated but magnetically coupled. If I am talking about the magnetically coupled means, magnetically the windings are connected. They are connected in the same, that is coupled, but electrically they are separated. Electrically they are separated. Why they are separated? Because we are giving input to the primary and taking out from the secondary. Input to the primary means primary winding is having, and output we are getting is basically the secondary, means we are connecting the load to that. So similar to that, the transformer works. In transformer, what happens? We give supply to the primary, current is there, flux is there, movement of flux is there, and cut by the secondary induced EMF. So turns are more, that the induced EMF is more. If turns is less, that the induced EMF is less. So high voltage, low voltage, high low current, high current. If I'm telling you that K is the basically transformation ratio. So if I'm talking about the transformation ratio, the transformation ratio is basically the ratio of secondary voltage to the primary voltage. It's ratio of the primary current to the secondary current. It's ratio to the secondary turns to the primary turns. So if I'm talking about the step up voltage or step up transformer, the V2 is greater than V1, so N2 is greater than N1, but I1 is greater than I2. So in a step up transformer, I1 is greater means primary current is high, secondary current is low. So step up construction is for current transformer. If I'm talking about the step down, though V2 is less than V1, but I2 is greater than I1. Means I1 is less than I2, you can say. And N1 is greater than N2 if step down is there. So turns are higher, voltage is higher, but current is less. Okay. So though we want to measure the voltage, though we having the step down construction of transformer. Okay. So transformation ratio we use for this type of measurement for voltage and current measurement. We use transformation ratio. So I hope you better understand why we are using this instrument transformer. We are using instrument transformer for protection, for power control of power system, you can say, and we have what? Basically, we use the ordinary transformer. They work as an ordinary transformer. Now, see here. It is a simple working structure. Basic construction of magnetic circuit of instrument transformer. Now, it is similar to that the two winding transformer, because there we having one winding transformer also. If I'm talking about the one winding transformer means, if I'm talking about the one winding transformer means auto transformer. But the main transformer is of two winding. Basically, if I'm talking about the transformer, it means it having the two windings. So primary winding is denoted by H1 and N2, and secondary winding is denoted by X1 and X2. These are the denotion or the expression, or we can say the labeling is prescribed or given by the prescribed and given by the IEEE, that is Institute of Electronic and Electrical Engineers, and IEC, that X1 and X2 denotes the secondary, and H1 and H2 denotes the primary, and we having the ratio of it. In current transformer, we having the turn ratio, that is secondary turn to the primary turns, we can say, or primary to the secondary we have. So I hope you understand. This is similar to your two winding transformer. It is look like this. Now, instrument transformer. So these are the instrument transformer. These are the polarity, primary showing by H1 H2, secondary showing you by the X1 X2, and these are the basically given by the IEEE and IEC. So we have to follow that. For example, if I'm talking about the electrical components, so we have to use ISI mark, Indian standard. And if I'm talking about the energy saving equipment, so Bureau of Energy Efficiency having the BEE is basically give you the star rating. That is why in every electrical equipment, that is standard every equipment, basically it is of company, not local, and we can say ordinary, or local made or homemade, ordinary. But if it is of company made, you always found or find a energy energy level on it, that is denoted by the star rating. That is basically denoted by you the star rating. 5-star rating is the higher, means through this we can basically save our energy up to 40% in a year. 4-star telling you the save up to 40% in a year. 30% tell you the 3-star telling you the 30% save in a year. Annual consumption saving. You can say the annual consumption of energy saving of annual energy consumption. And 22-star is basically for 20%, and one is for the 10%. So that is the denotation given by the BE. So similar to that, IEEE and IEC uh, express this thing that we have to make H1 for primary, X1 for the secondary. Means H denoted the primary, X denoted the secondary. H1 and H2 are the primary winding first end and second end respectively, and X1, X2 are the secondary winding turns respectively, first turn and secondary turn. I hope you understand. Now moving forward, instrument transformer. Now how can we connect instrument transformer here? So here basically we are having the line voltage here, and here we are having the primary winding with the secondary winding we have, and we having the voltage transformer in it. So in line voltage we are connecting the voltage transformer, and if I am talking about the secondary side, in the primary we having the voltage transformer connection, primary and secondary, with we having the voltmeter connected to parallel it, then we having the protection relay, and then we having the watt hour meter. Then we having the protection relay connected to it. Though polarity is given to you like this. This is, we can say, H1, H2 and X1, X2. This is the secondary, this is the primary. And we have connected parallel, that is voltmeter, and then we having the protection relay. Then we got the protection relay and directly connected to the watt hour meter, because in watt hour or power measurement we need voltage. So voltage is given by the voltmeter. Okay, through this we are getting, and we are grounded it to for the leakage current. Then load current. Now see, if I am talking about the voltage meter or voltage transformer, means voltmeter, or we can say potential transformer, PT. So they are basically similar to your voltmeter. So we connect voltmeter in the parallel. So I am connecting in the parallel, see here, and the load current is basically measured by the current transformer. So the common connection of instrument transformers are similar to that one. So current transformer is basically for the current measurement. So we are, and I am connecting in the series. I am connecting it to in the series. Why in the series? Because always ammeter connected in the series to measure the branch current. So here the current is measurement, and we having the ammeter which measures, and having the protection relay. So here we have short circuited with the voltmeter, but here we have the open with the ammeter and grounded and directly feeding the value to the watt hour meter. Because if I am talking about the watt hour meter, so watt hour meter is the energy meter which measures the energy. And if I am talking about the energy, my dear students, so energy we can found with the help of product of voltage into current into time. So we can measure it with the help of this CT and PT. So now potential transformers. What is a potential transformer, PT or VT? Somewhere you can find it is VT, somewhere we can written as a PT. So a PT, sometimes called VT, is a step down transformer having many turns but few secondary turns, having primary turns, many maximum step down construction, but few secondary turns. In a step down transformer, the voltage decreases and the current increases. V2 by V1, but I1 by I2. So V2 is increasing means I1 is increasing. So V1 is increasing means I2 is increasing. I1 is decreasing. So in a step down transformer, the voltage decreases and the current increases of secondary side. Thus, voltage can be easily measured by a low range voltmeter instrument, and the voltage is stepped down in a known ratio called voltage ratio. The voltage is stepped down in a known ratio called voltage ratio. So voltage is basically stepped down the voltage, but in the known ratio known as voltage ratio. Now, potential transformer. Construction and working of potential transformer, PT. Construction, if I'm talking about the construction. So, a potential transformer has many primary windings, but few number of secondary windings turns, that makes it a step down transformer. If I'm talking about it as a step down transformer, so a potential transformer has many primary winding turns, but few number of secondary winding turns. That makes it a potential transformer, means step down transformer. A voltmeter is connected to the secondary winding is usually a voltmeter of 150 volt. If I am talking about the secondary winding, so a voltmeter for the voltage measurement is connected to the secondary winding is usually a voltmeter of 150 volt. Okay, a working measurement. How it work? How it measure? So the primary terminals are connected in parallel across the line to which the voltage to be measured, because it is just similar to your voltmeter in a measuring instrument. So we connect in a parallel. We connected in across. So primary terminals are connected in parallel across the line to which the voltage to be measured. Okay. The voltmeter reading gives the transformed value of the of the voltage across the secondary terminals. It gives you what the voltmeter readings gives the transformed value of the line voltage across the secondary terminals. Across the secondary terminals, what voltage we are having, so that we can found with the help of voltmeter reading. Okay, the deflection of the voltmeter when divided by the transform ratio gives the output voltage across the primary line. The deflection of the voltmeter when divided by the transformed ratio gives the actual voltage across the primary winding as given as the line voltage is equal to deflection oblique transformation ratio. The line voltage is equal to deflection. What deflection I am having? Oblique transformation ratio. Where transformation ratio is V2 by V1. V2 by V1. For example, V2 is having 20 volt and V1 is having the 200 volt. So 1 by 10 we having, and deflection we are having 5, so 5 by 10. So 2.2 we are having the deflection. The line voltage we can measure it for this. Okay, for example, I hope you understand. Now, precaution for PT. Now, what will be the precaution and what precaution we have to use or we have to place for PT? Since the secondary of a PT, means potential transformer, is connected to the relays, their ratings are usually 40 to 100 watts. They are usually not more than 100, not less than 40. So the range will be between the 40 to 100 watts. They will be between the 40 to 100 watts. For safety purpose, the secondary should be completely insulated. You can say for safety purpose, the secondary should be completely insulated from the high voltage primary and should be in addition grounded. For safety purpose, the secondary should be completely insulated, is completely insulated from high voltage primary and should be in addition grounded, in addition with the grounding. Okay, now potential transformer, if I'm talking about this, some types of PT. So some types of PT are shell type, dry type and oil type. You can say shell type, a window type, dry type, no oil is there, and the third is oil. We are using as a oil similar to that your transformer oil, that is mineral oil, for insulation and cooling purpose. We can see. So here, if I'm talking about the rating, though below 5000 volt, we use shell type. Below 5000 volt, we use shell type, a window type structure. 5000 to 13,800 volt, we use dry type and oil type, both dry and oil. Above 13,800, only oil type. So between 5000 to 13,800, for example, anyone asks you that we having the 14,000 volt rating. So which type of PT is suitable? Only oil type. Now the rating is 11,500, though maybe it's dry, maybe it's oil. If rating is 4,500 or 569 volt, though what we have to use shell type. So these are the types and the specifications. Okay, now next we have potential transformer common ratios. Potential transformer common ratios we can identify by this. VP is showing you there, and VS. VP is basically primary and VS is the secondary, and we connected this secondary to the relay with the relay basically. So 14,400 divided by 120. So 120 is to 1. 120 by 1. 4200 about divided by 120 is the ratio. We can say these are the common ratio we have. The primary winding is basically 14,400 volt, secondary 120 step down. So ratio is 120 by 1. Ratio is 120 by 1. 4200 by 120, 35 by 1. 2400 by 120, 20 by 1. So these are the ratios, some common ratios we have for the potential transformer. Basically the ratios are there given, the voltage and this all. So we having these ratios. Okay, I hope you understand. Now, connections of single phase potential transformer we have. This is your line. Three phase we having three different connection, three phases connection, but if we having the single phase, so the connections are shown to you. This is your line. Parallel I am connecting the primary with secondary, and they showing you the core. And in this secondary we are having the few turns, but primary having the large number of turns, and we connected voltmeter which basically short circuited for the measurement, and this is your load. So it is not affecting the load, but current transformer connected in the series. So I hope you understand. Now, other PT and three phase typical connections. If I'm talking about the other PTs, means potential transformer and three phase connection, now see here. We're having the common connection with this in the basically the primary side, and if I'm talking about the secondary side, so we are having the different connection in the secondary sides. So we having the A, B, C, the single phase A, B, which is basically three phase. A, B, and C are the lines. We having the first phase, second phase, and three phase. We having the H1, H2, H1, H2, and X1, H2. H1 is basically denotation of the primary winding. So H1, H2 are the primary winding turns of first. Then second we having H1, H2. Then we having the X1, X2 of the secondary, X1, X2 of the secondary. This is known as the open delta connections. Connected, it's basically what open delta means. Two transformer we are using only, not three. Open delta bushings, VTs. If I'm talking about the star to star connection, basically single bushing VTs we have. So we having three transformers connecting in for the three phase. It is simply star to star delta, basically YY connections. And previous one is VV connection, that is open delta. This is basically the a star to star connections. H1 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 H2 H1 H2 X1 X2 X1 X2 and X1 X2. So we are connecting the relays and we are connecting the PT. I hope you understand. Now other PTM three phase typical connection. So here we having the damping resistor. We can introduce a resistor also. So broken corner delta VT connection we having. Star connection is there, but we having the delta connection, but broken. Somewhere it is broken here, and we place resistor, that is known as damping resistor. Which type of resistor we have? That is known as damping resistor is there. I hope you understand about this thing. In this we having open delta, star star. We having the basically the broken corner delta VT connection, damping resistor. This is another PT and three phase typical connection. So here basically star to star broken corner delta connection. It is the broken corner delta connection C. But we are having the star. So here we are having the star, here we have the star, but having one more connection. For tracing we are having the delta broken. So star, star, and delta broken. In this we having the star and delta broken here, but in this we having star in the primary, secondary we having the star, and one is the delta which is broken. So these are all the PTs and three phase typical connections we have. I hope you understand. Now next, the basic important rules for instrument transformers. What are they? Rule number one: never open circuit a current transformer secondary while primary is energized. If primary is energized, though never open circuit a secondary circuit. We can say the current transformer secondary while primary is energized. Why? Because CTs are intended to be proportional current device. Very high voltage can result from opening circuiting the secondary circuit of an energized CT. Even very small primary current can cause damage. We get the damage if we do it. I hope you understand. Now, rule number two, that is second, never short circuit the secondary of energized VT. Never short circuit the secondary of energized VT. VTs are intended to be used as a proportional voltage devices. So, damping current will result from short circuiting the secondary current of an energized VT. That is rule number two. Now, the rule number three is CT secondary leads must be added to the CT burden. Now, CT burden is basically the load which we are connecting to the CT secondary. So, CT secondary leads must be added to the CT burden, must be added to the current transformer burden we have. Now, electronic relays usually represent very little burden to the CT secondary circuit in many cases. In many cases, we having the little burden to the CT secondary circuit. So, major burden is caused by the CT secondary leads. So, we can say the major burden is caused by the current transformer secondary leads we have. Now, rule 4. Never use a 60 Hz rated VT on a 50 Hz system. So, if I am talking about the European countries, we are working on 60 Hz frequency. But for the Asian countries, we are having 50 Hz frequency system. So, 60 Hz VTs may saturate at lower frequencies and exceed temperature limitations. If I am talking about 60 Hz VTs, may saturate at lower frequency. May saturate at what? Lower frequencies we can say, and exceed temperature limitation, and exceed what? Exceeds its temperature limitations. Okay, so may saturate at lower frequency and exceeds temperature limitations. VT failure is likely, severe equipment damage is possible. Severe equipment damage is possible. So four rules are there. Basic important rules for instrument transformer: never open circuit a current transformer secondary while primary is energized. Never short circuit the secondary of an energized VT. CT secondary leads must be added to a CT burden. Never use a 60 hertz rated VT on a 50 hertz system. So these are the rules. So we having two types of instrument transformer: potential transformer and current transformer. Potential transformer is similar to your step down transformer, and current transformer is similar to your step up transformer. Means step up primary having few turns, but secondary having the large number of turns. If I am talking about the voltage transformer, potential transformer, though in primary we having the large number of turns, but in secondary we having the few number of turns. So VT and CT means VT always known as potential transformer. So these are the differences. So we having the ratios also for the production, measurement and control of power system. So we having these all are the instrument transformer. One is the current transformer, second we having the potential transformer. So in this lecture we have studied about the potential transformer, though some multiple choice question related to our topic. The secondary winding of a PT has large number of turns, intermediate number of turns, no turns at all, a few turns. Option is D because it is step down transformer. Turn ratio for PT is NP by NS, NS by NP, 1 by NP, NS. So A, NP by NS, primary by secondary. How is frequency related to the time period? Obviously, frequency is inversely proportional to the time. So it is inversely proportional. The primary winding of a CT, that is current transformer, has large number of turns, no turns at all, intermediate number of turns, few turns. Option again D, a few turns. Step up construction. The secondary winding of a CT has step down construction means few turns. So option is we can say options are large number of turns, a few turns, no turns at all, intermediate number of turns. So option is B, a few turns. The turn ratio for a CT is we can say NP by NS, NS by NP, 1 by NP, NS. So option is B, NS by NP, secondary turn to the primary turns. The primary winding of a PT has few turns or large number of turns. Obviously, it is a step down, so large number of turns. So intermediate number of turns, no turns at all, large number of turns, a few turns. So option is C, few turns. Now, what is current transformer? We can say what is a current transformer. So a transformer used with an AC ammeter. A transformer used with an AC ammeter, we can say option A. B is transformer used with an DC ammeter. So DC we are not using. We use DC but with the help of rectifier. So B option is not there. Transformer used with an AC voltmeter. So current we are measuring. Why we are using voltmeter? So option C and D is wrong. A, B is also wrong. The remaining option is E. So option E is correct. What is a potential transformer? Again, potential means voltage. So voltmeter is there but not DC, and no ammeter is there. So option is B. That is transformer used with an AC voltmeter. CT and PT are used for what? Why we are using? Why we are using these instrument transformer, my dear students? Option A, measuring low voltage, low currents and voltages, measuring very low currents and voltages, measuring high currents and voltages, measuring intermediate currents and voltages. So option is C, high current and voltages. That is why we are using. Otherwise, voltmeters are ammeters are sufficient for us. Why we are using this? For measuring purpose. I hope you understand. Now moving forward, these are the some reference books through which I took some material to deliver this lecture to you, my dear students. And these are very good books. We can say the A.K. Sani is the Indian author book of Dhanpat Rai and Sons, and it is a very good book. It having the very good content, and these books are available in our library. So you can also refer these books for better understanding. Electrical Measurement and Measuring Instrument by Rajendra Prasad. This is of Khanna Publisher book, and it is again a very good book which having the content in it, A.S. Morris. A.S. Morris is basically the international author book, Principle of Measurement and Instrumentation. It is a Prentice Hall. So it is a very good book. So this is all about the instrument transformer as a potential transformer. I hope you understand. So this is all about from my side. I hope you better understand about the instrument transformer as a potential transformer. So thank you for patience with me. I hope you understand about this lecture, what we have studied, in which manner we have studied. So thank you for understanding. Thank you for listening this. I hope you